Hi friends, I'm Rhiannon from Drawn by Rhiannon, and today I'm going to show you how to make reusable makeup pads. Just in case you didn't know, reusable makeup pads are a fantastic product. They're such an easy way to reduce waste instead of using a single-use cotton wool pad, taking off your makeup and throwing it away each day. You can put your makeup remover onto a reusable makeup remover pad and then just chuck it in the wash at the end of the day. So they last a really long time and you're just saving so much waste. So I thought it would be a good idea to show you how they are made. They're very simple to make and they don't use up a lot of fabric, so it's a really good project if you've got a few scraps of fabric left that you're wanting to use up for something useful. So today I'm going to show you step by step how you can make reusable makeup pads. First of all, you're going to need your main fabric. So I would recommend choosing a fabric that washes really well and that doesn't have too much of a stretch with it, just to make it easier to sew with. So I use a cotton fabric which works fantastically, so I would recommend using either a cotton or a bamboo or something like that. Now you can make your reusable makeup pads any shape and size that you want, but I go for little squares because they fit really nicely onto the metre of fabric when I get that printed. But like I say, if you want to use up some fabric scraps, this is a great project for that because you can make them in any shape and size that you want. Secondly, you are going to need some cotton toweling. So you can get cotton toweling by the metre from a fabric shop, but you can also just use literal towels. So if you've got some old towels that maybe you've changed the colour scheme of your bathroom, or they're kind of like a spare set that you never really use, this is a great time to use them up, get them out of the cupboard, cut those up, and you can use those for the backing of your makeup pads. So first things first, you want to decide on the shape and size of your makeup pads, cut that size out of your main fabric, and then you want to cut another piece out of the toweling fabric exactly the same size. You can also choose how many reusable makeup pads you want to make. I make 5 in a pack, that's the size pack that I sell, but if you want more or less, this is completely up to you, so cut out as many shapes as you want to make. Once you've got your pieces of fabric, you're going to want to pin them together. So put the right side of the printed fabric down onto the right side of the toweling so that the right side of both fabrics are facing inwards, so you can't see the print and you can't see the right side of the toweling. Then just pop a few pins in those, just avoiding the edge because that's where we're going to sew around. Once they're pinned in place, you're going to want to sew around 3 sides of the square. So if you're not doing a square, if you're doing circles or anything like that instead, then just make sure that you sew sort of 3/4 of the way round so that you've got space to turn out. But like I say, I do mine in squares, so I just sew around 3 sides of the square. Once you've done your initial stitching, what you need to do then is turn it through. So literally just pull the fabric through so that the right sides are on the outside. So if you've picked a really nice printed fabric, you can see the print in all its glory. Again, if you're doing squares like I make, then you want to just make sure you're pushing out the corners to make it nice and crisp. So I use a point turner for this, but you don't need a point turner. You can use a knitting needle or the end of a paintbrush, anything that's not too sharp so that it's not going to point through and rip your line of stitching, but you want something that's sort of firm enough that it's going to give that really nice clean edge. Once your makeup pad is turned the right way round, you need to tuck in the raw edge. So the edge that you haven't sewn and the edge that's still sort of open, you want to tuck that in so we fold away all of the raw edges, and then you want to pin those 2 edges together. So all the raw edges are going to be tucked inside and we're going to sew across the whole thing so we don't see any raw edges and it's really nice and neat. If you've chosen to go for circles instead of squares, this is a little bit more tricky because with having the curved edge, but you know, it doesn't need to be perfect, so don't worry about it. Just as long as all the raw edges are tucked inside so that they don't start to fray. I always recommend putting in your pins at a right angle from the way that you're going to be sewing. That way you can just sew straight over your pins and you don't need to take them out as you go. Then the final stage is to top stitch around the whole outside edge. So the benefit of doing this is that it's going to seal up that raw edge that we have just pinned, and then also it's going to give a really nice finish. So if you're not fussed about the finish, you can literally just sew up the open edge that you've just pinned, but if you want to just finish it off nicely, I would recommend just sewing around all of the edges. And then that's your first makeup pad finished. So a really nice simple craft, great for beginners or if you're thinking about maybe making some gifts for Christmas, I think these would be a really good idea. Like I say, just repeat as many times as you want to make as many makeup pads as you would like. If you wanted to make these even more absorbent, you could put a little layer of bamboo wadding in the middle. This is what I do for the cleaning wipes, and it's great for sort of mopping up spills and things like that, but you could also put them in the makeup pads if you wanted that extra layer of thickness. Then if you're making them for a gift, you could tie them up, put a little tag on it, and maybe put some little washing instructions on. Like on mine, on the label it says wash at 30 degrees. That's just so that the printed fabric stays nice and vibrant, which we love. And there you go, you've made yourself a pack of reusable makeup pads. I hope you find them useful, and let me know in the comments down below if you decide to make a pack for yourself. If you don't fancy making some reusable makeup pads for yourself, but you'd still like to get your hands on some, then I would highly recommend checking out my website, because I've got a huge range of makeup pads on there, and they are the only place where you can buy the makeup pads with my print designs on them, so I'll drop a link down in the comments so you can go and check out the full range. They're a lovely little treat for yourself, or they're a great present to someone that is wanting to try out reducing their waste at home, because it is such an easy first step to take. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, it'd be really lovely if you could like this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Click here to subscribe and click here to watch another video. I hope you're all having a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!